What would you ask a lawyer if you could ask them anything? My brother and I opened up an answering machine to allow friends and family to do just that. The questions we received were remarkable. So remarkable, in fact, that we decided to turn them into a podcast. Now, while this podcast isn't legal advice and it's just for fun, we think you're really going to like what you hear. With that being said, my name's Nathan Beam, and I help run a personal injury law firm in Melbourne, Florida.
My name's Riley Beam, and I'm a personal injury attorney.
And from the law offices of Douglas R. Beam, this is Good Questions for Bad Days.
Okay, so let's say, Nathan and I are cooking in the kitchen, we're laughing, we're having a good time, and then I'm cutting an onion, and then I turn around and accidentally stab him, or vice versa, or he accidentally stabs me. What do we do?
Yeah, obviously you call the ambulance if you need to, if it's a bad deal. Now, as far as legally, it's your family member. They're not going to bring charges against you. But let's say another scenario. Let's say you're at a fair, and it's a little standalone stand, and it's kind of open, and people have fryers and knives and all kinds of stuff. Really dangerous equipment. If they're not careful, they can hurt someone. And most likely it's going to be a civil thing. There's no criminal intent, but you can be criminally negligent. So if someone is flailing around a knife, and they shouldn't be, and it's so reckless and dangerous that they cause harm to someone to the point that they're killed or have serious bodily harm, you could bring, the state could bring action against that person. More than likely, it's going to be a civil charge as well, or civil action as well from the person that was injured. But if you're now, that's the example we just heard. Kind of is general working around the kitchen, and it doesn't sound. You're walking through the kitchen, that person also should be paying attention to the people with the knives and all that. So, nothing is really going to come out of that, probably. The way you would pay for something like that, if you have health insurance, there might be a homeowner's policy that's there that covers kind of a negligent act. So that may be something you want to look at to help pay for your injuries and what came from it.
So it sounds like that's just generally in your house, right? Like not only if you are doing something and, your action accidentally injures someone, but maybe if someone's walking through, through your yard and a tile flies off the house and hits them in the head, it sounds like it's kind of the same sort of scenario in the eyes of, someone getting...
Right. If it's negligence or if there's some sort of, duty to maintain the property and you didn't do it and someone gets hurt. Now, if it's an act of God, if a tornado comes through and the tile hits someone, there's probably not going to be a claim about that, and the insurance company's going to be all over that. Okay. But yeah, if you have a duty to keep your property safe, and that's from head to toe, ceiling to floor, roof, your yard. If you have things in your yard that are attractive to kids, and even if they jump the fence to get in your yard and play on it and they get hurt, you could get in trouble. So just the home is it's pretty amazing some of the lawsuits that can be brought for people getting hurt you would never think could happen.
Really? So that's interesting. So I guess in terms of family, you were saying that it's pretty unlikely that someone's going to have some sort of big lawsuit over this, but you're saying in terms of individuals generally at your home, and this is not you cutting vegetables and stabbing someone, but generally it is your responsibility to keep your home in a certain manner that's going to keep people safe, yeah?
Yeah, and you want to look at your steps, are your floors slippery and wet if you have a pool or if people come in from the rain. Things you might notice that happen to you that you're walking in and you always trip on the same, loose piece of tile, and I'm going to get to that later. If that ends up happening to someone and they get hurt, and you know about it, you could be, responsible for it. Even if you don't know about it, you're supposed to keep your house safe for people. So, those are the biggest ones. The stairs and the floors and those kind of things that leaving around kind of loose equipment that people can trip over and fall and get hurt. If you're owning a home, be careful of that.
Home ownership. A lot to think about there, but I know that this weekend I'm going to be walking around my house to make sure that everything's safe for guests. I might also be calling my insurance agent just to make sure everything is neat and tidy. If you need more help, we're around. If you're facing a legal issue, particularly a personal injury one, call us. With over $100 million in settlements and verdicts for families in Central Florida, we've gotten pretty good at what we do. And in the 35 years we've been open, the reviews and the word from the community, I think, is representative of that. So if you're facing any sort of legal issue, you should call us. If we can't help you, there's a really good chance that we know someone who can. And hey, if you're an attorney who's listening to this podcast and is looking for co-counsel in Florida, you should also give us a call. We regularly work on multi-million-dollar cases and would be happy to help. You can reach us at 321-723-6591 or at dougbeam.com. And from all of us, the law office of Douglas R. Beam, we really appreciate you listening, and we're looking forward to answering more good questions for bad days.